Next up, we've got Jessica Penne taking on Tabatha Ricci. Jessica Penne, 14-6 overall, 2-3 in her last 5, coming off the lopsided striking loss to Emily Ducote. Tabatha Ricci is 7-1 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, and she is riding a nice 2-fight win streak. What is happening? Oh, you're doing a baby shark? Boy, you're really struggling, dude. Today is not your day.
Imagine I knock all that over.
Oh, dude, and your mom's going to get pissed if those command strips take any of that paint off that wall.
She's not.
Don't let her hear.
She's not.
Don't let her hear. Oh, that explains.
I can clean it up.
You've got a lot more to clean up as well. This fight was originally booked. Exactly. Why is that roll of toilet paper on your computer desk in the closet or the corner?
Masturbation.
All right, fair enough. This fight was originally booked all the way back at UFC Vegas 61, but Penne pulled out. It has been rebooked, and I love seeing these fights that get rebooked because you get to see what the odds are. The bookies get all the money. They see the odds. The fight gets canceled, and then they open the fight back up with new odds. Last time around, Tabatha Ricci was a -150 favorite.
Disrespect.
This time around, she opened at a -240. So last time I had bets. I did all the things. This time it's not nearly the same value, even though it's the same fighters in the same fight. Jessica Penne has all the experience in the world. 14-6. That is a lot of fights, and that is over 16 years. During that time, she's evolved. She's picked up some skills. She's well-rounded. She's not amazing anywhere, but she's pretty good everywhere. She can hang with some of the better people. What?
I was going to say she's amazing on OnlyFans.
Her OnlyFans is actually not that good. It's just like kind of see-through shirts. And, listen.
Ooh, I like to be teased. I like to be teased.
Jasmine, no, we're not going down that we're gay together path again. Jasmine Jasudavicius released a big OnlyFans, and then she goes, there's not going to be any nudie pics. It's like, all right, well, I appreciate the heads up. Like,
Jasmine's on there.
Well, she just straight up said, no nudie
She
pics.
loved our breakdown last week. I think mine more than yours, but...
she retweeted it. She engaged. She was all about it. Anyway.
Is she engaged?
Whoa.
I don't know if you just saw the chat. I don't know if you just saw that donation. That's American dollars. Holy shit.
I see the comment, but not the... There it is. $100 from Jimmy the Genie.
Holy shit.
Jacob and Angelo are the best. Thanks for everything you do. Jimmy, thank you for the $100 super chat. I think we're going to sign up for a couple OnlyFans accounts. This is very genuinely appreciated, Jimmy, and hopefully we entertain you and you get some valuable insight and you're able to make this money back this weekend with some of our picks and info. Thank you very much. Genuinely appreciated.
And he put my name first. I think there was a reason behind that.
Every dog has his day. Tabatha Ricci, 7-1 overall, all the things. But I mentioned Jessica Penne. She's got 20 professional fights. That is over 16 years. She has improved. She has gotten better. She's not great anywhere, but she's not awful anywhere either. It's not like there's just something that you can easily exploit if you're trying to beat her. She's somewhat technical. She did have a 4-year layoff between 2017 in 2017. She came back, put together a few wins. One of them was super, super sketch. But then she is coming off this loss where Emily Ducote just absolutely outstruck her, and she went 0 for 8 in takedown attempts. Tabatha Ricci is a very good grappler. Always looking for submissions. She doesn't sacrifice position or chase either. She's very heavy on top, good pressure, good control. She will ground and pound while trying to find something. You're going to see that one loss on a record that was in the UFC.
Did you hear me do that?
I heard the groan and then I just happened to look over. That one loss was in the UFC, but that was a UFC debut against Manon Fiorot on short notice at 125 pounds when we all know she's a 115-pound fighter. Tabatha Ricci is going to dominate this fight. I loved her in the first matchup. I appreciated that line more. I still bet 1.5 units on her at minus 240. I think she absolutely gets it done. Jessica Penne has only a 40% takedown defense, and I don't think it's going to hold up here. The last thing I'll say before I pass it over, though, is she does have that veteran savvy. Loopy had a little bit of a hard time taking her down, but Loopy has bully takedowns. Tabatha Ricci isn't a bully. She comes in there, uses technique, and she could absolutely get those takedowns. So don't go to the Loopy fight and say, oh, she struggled, because I don't see Tabatha doing that.
And that fight was nonsense too. She was basically just climbing on the back of Loopy while Loopy was like trying to, because there was a few times Loopy picked her up over her head and just like tossed her across the octagon. And like a couple of those times she went to like suplex her up, and then she just like kind of hung on her back a little bit. But yeah, I think that breakdown was pretty spot on. There's not too much to add. I will say that this is probably going to be, honestly, a carbon copy of that Polyana-Viana fight. You know, you saw Ricci kind of struggle with the length early. The only difference is in the stand-up, she has to respect Polyana a little bit more than she has to respect Jessica Penne, because Polyana is actually a little bit more dangerous with the hand. She is pretty tight with those strikes, the technical striking. She will throw some wild kicks as well. So, you know, Ricci was a little bit hesitant in those entries. Once she figured out the range, she had no issues. Also, I think that Penne is going to be ready, as Polyana was, with those front chokes, those guillotines off her back. She will throw up the triangles, look for the arm bars. But again, I think the difference is Polyana-Viana is a little bit better at that than Jessica Penne. So while I think this is going to be a carbon copy of the Polyana-Viana fight, I think it's honestly just a step down, and it should be an easier fight for Tabatha Ricci. And Tabatha Ricci honestly had no issues with Polyana-Viana. She is not a very good striker, but she knows how to use kind of that blitz pressure striking to get to the takedowns, drops her level. She's a short girl. It's very easy for her to get on the legs, and she's very, very good with top pressure. So I don't see anything going against her in this fight. I agree with Angela. I think she should dominate, and if you guys are premium members, we have backed up those claims as well. So
we've got quite a few bets going on this fight.
I'm Baby Shark all the way. She's beautiful. Holy shit, is she beautiful?
Thirsty Jake back at it.
You don't agree?
She is very pretty, but I'm not the one wearing a shirt of a different woman while talking about this one.
That's a good point. It's a numbers game, Angelo. At this point, you just gotta. It doesn't matter what you bring home. You just gotta have somebody. The nights get lonely.
It's, right, bud?
Yeah, right.
How we doing? You all right? Well, anyway, we're both on the Tabatha Ricci side. I think $8,900 in DraftKings is a very fair price, because I think she could potentially win by stoppage here. And if she doesn't, I see a lot of control time, a lot of grappling. And frankly, I think Tabatha Ricci scores better in DraftKings than Farid Basharat, who we just broke down.
Yeah,
so that's why I was like that 9,100.
Yeah. You know she's going to wrestle.
100%.
And honestly, we were talking about, we were talking last week about, and I mentioned my quick pick video, the baby Khabib last week that ended up being, I guess somewhat baby Khabib, but Tabatha Ricci, I think is if there's anyone that is like relentless with the wrestling, it is Tabatha Ricci, honestly.
I'm fully confident in her. As Jacob mentioned, we have a whole bunch of bets going in this fight. So if you're not a premium member, become one now. It is only $10 a month. And today we just released Fight Metrics, a whole bunch of wild information and data that you can interact with. You can even pull up the big sheet and then export it and then manipulate it yourself on your computer. WeWantPicks.com. It is only $10 a month. You get the bets, the optimizer, all the things at WeWantPicks.com. And speaking of all the things, we got a $9.99 super chat from Christian O'Brien, cashed out on UFC 284. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you, Christian. And pay-per-view weeks are always big for us, because a lot of people that come just for the pay-per-views and not the in-between.
O'Brien.
Luckily,
parts.
That's O'Reilly. Luckily, we did pretty well at 284. So it sounds like you tagged along. Thank you very much for the super chat.